There's a bit of backstory, but it's important. In February of 2015, my sister ended up buying a Ouija board. She bought it from Spencer's Gifts, so it was cheap and plastic. It has a moon and a sun in the top 2 corners, 2 images on the bottom that I don't really remember. She made plans with 2 of our friends and myself to use the board. My mother is a Bible thumper, so we couldn't do it at our house. We decided to go to one of her friends' houses, since her parents are open to things like that. We all spent the night at S's house. They wanted to wait and take the board out at 12 a.m., the witching hour, to have a higher chance of making contact with something. We had a dance party, ate a ton of junk food, and about 10:30, we settled to watch a movie. I fell asleep. At about 11:45, S stopped the movie, and we started setting up. I was tired from our craziness. We shut off the lights, lit white candles, got around the board. My sister, S, and I had our hands on the planchette, while the other friend, D, sat next to us with paper and pencil to document. She was too scared to use the board. We opened the board and asked questions without much luck. We stopped and talked about what we could do to help things move along. After a while, my sister looked up an app on her phone. It claimed to translate the words that ghosts were saying, or something like that. S thought it was stupid, but we were going to try anything. The phone was handed off to D to keep an eye on it. We kept talking about the candles being too bright, or someone not being open enough to it, when D said that the phone just said plastic and board, one after the other. We took that as a sign that something may be happening. The moment I put my fingers on the planchette, I started shaking. Dread washed over me so intensely, but I couldn't let go of the planchette. I didn't want to. It took all I had to keep myself from crying. The board started off silent, but all of a sudden it moved to Z, then Y, then X. My sister instantly got scared and said, "Move it to goodbye now." We did. The feeling was gone as quickly as it came. My sister explained that if whatever is moving the planchette starts counting down, moving up or down in the alphabet, making figure 8s, or moving to the 4 corners, it's a bad spirit or demon. It's trying to make the board a portal. We stopped for the night after that. I didn't tell them how I felt. I was worried that they would think I was just messing with them, that they wouldn't believe me. I had trouble sleeping because I thought that it would come back as I slept. I never experienced dread quite like that before. It felt violating. It felt like whatever it was tried to possess my body. I feel that because I was so tired. I was vulnerable to attack. I'll never play with a board again. It's not a game. It's so real and can go very wrong. When I was a teenager, I got into using a Ouija board. At first, I did it with my friends. We thought it was fun. But eventually, curiosity got the better of me. I started using it alone, in my already paranormally active 115-year-old house. First things first, I do not advise using Ouija boards, ever. I regret my choices as they were dangerous, filled my already creepy house with more bad energy. At best, they're either powerless and or have a good sense of humor. I won't be mentioning any of them by name, except Dave, who was harmless, as I don't want to invite that energy back into my life. If you decide to do it against all warnings, do it away from where you live. I became particularly close with a little boy who had drowned, along with his sister in some Eastern European country. His sister taunted and made him feel lonely and angry in the afterlife, a very dangerous thing for a spirit, as this can turn them into very dark souls. They feed on your energy in order to communicate through the board, so it's best not to contact darker entities who will affect your energy with theirs. This is why I tried to be there for him. I was kind to him, and he changed, promising to keep me company, as I had done for him. I allowed him to connect to me, though I still don't really understand the full extent of what that means. To this day, I hope he's okay. However, this story is about an entity that first called himself Secret. I won't repeat his real name. He was incredibly dark. As time went by, I found out that he was a Nazi, involved in and proud of many deaths in France. Despite me losing family in World War II, I had to keep sweet with him. It's helpful to joke around, as they're less likely to act on any vitriol. I didn't want to. He was creepy, and yes, a fucking Nazi. Not my kind of guy. One day, my stepdad tried to turn the bathroom light on. It wouldn't work, so he called my mom over. As soon as she touched it, the light switched on. They went back and forth testing this, making sure it wasn't just a coincidence. Many strange things happened in that house that defy logic, so even though it was creepy, they moved on and added it to the pile of weird stories. As I write this out and connect the dots, I realize that the reason might be because my stepdad is Jewish. Horrible. I was suspicious, but again, it wasn't completely out of the ordinary for the house. Then the light started flickering. It was an old house, so it was just bothersome at first. I don't know who spoke to it, but quickly we realized it was responding to us. We tested by asking simple math questions, 1 + 3, stuff like that, and it would never flicker outside of an answer. 1 flicker for no, 2 for yes. My mom and sister came to the conclusion that it was our late Nana, as the light said it was. I didn't believe it for a second. I knew I'd brought something more powerful than the other whatevers were in the house before I started using the Ouija board. I maintained a level of skepticism despite the conversations my family would have with the light. It was when I asked it to sing with me that I had no doubt that it was not a series of weird coincidences. I picked London Bridge as it's pretty old and famous. It flickered on every syllable, in time with my singing, and stopped as soon as I did. That was really creepy. I threw a few names around, first asking if it was the boy. The answer was no. It was no to every name until I got to the Nazi. I was showering and I felt pretty vulnerable, but continued joking as I did when using the board. After that, I didn't speak to the light. Tried to tell my sister and mom to stop when we were out of the house. I never told them why, other than I thought it was not a friendly thing. Thankfully, my mom is pretty superstitious, and my sister is easily wound up, so they stopped feeding him attention. This didn't ward me off talking to my little boy spirit, though. It was habit at this point in my life to check on him. He said something about my soul becoming dark. However, I didn't think too much of it, as he would say all sorts of stuff a lot before I befriended him, as did most of the spirits. A little while after this, my friends and I decided to do a session outside of a derelict pub by the beach to see if we could get anything about the building's past. There was no way we would go inside. It was dangerous, probably full of homeless people that were squatting, pitch black inside. Instead, we sat out front, not far from a road where passerbys could see us, but we picked a day with bad weather to limit attention. We contacted a spirit called Dave. He was pretty friendly and funny. Apparently, he died from falling in a balcony in a drunken stupor, but wasn't bitter about it. We were all laughing as 2 ladies walked by. They asked what we were doing, but I'm pretty sure they already knew. We explained, and one of them warned us that it may seem fun, but it's the devil, which, admittedly, we did know. The other lady, however, revealed that she was a witch. At first, she told us stories about her and her witch friends, but then gave us a piece of advice. Your energy is sacred. These activities corrupt you, lead you to dark thoughts and traumatic events. Sadly, I think my friend may have been a victim of this, as shortly after, she entered a depression and we don't talk anymore. There were many factors to this, and I don't want to blame it entirely on the Ouija board, but it's a possibility, I guess. The lady told us of her white witch friend, one who practices light magic. She would ask to send us peace and protection, and asked us to look out for white feathers over the next few days. Me and my other friend saw white feathers. Mine was stuck to the front door of my house the next day. I don't know if I do believe in all of that, but the friend who didn't see one is the girl who entered a depression. If it's true, I certainly do feel guilty, as I was the one doing it so much. It's a source of great shame for me. We didn't have any Ouija sessions from that point on. It's wise to listen to a witch. The light stopped flickering, whether it's because we stopped entertaining him, or the white witch did send us protection. I don't know. It's most likely the former, as they feed off of energy. I stopped talking to my little boy, though I did call out for him, wish him well in the house from time to time, just in case he was listening. I've never really felt any bad energy around me since. I try to be a positive influence on the people around me. I try to be forgiving and kind. I'm grateful for what I have, and I do my best not to ruin good things. And I notice white feathers a lot more now. Again, please don't do Ouija boards. They're so bad for you, and I'm lucky that I dealt with it well and moved out of that creepy old house into a new building with no history. They may seem cool and entertaining. You may even want to make a joke out of it if you don't believe it's real. But they are vessels for evil. I don't know if my soul is still all mine, if what the spirits said or threatened is true. Just don't do it.